All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel Frankenstein. I'm a managing partner and co-founder of a micro venture firm called Janvest Technologies. We're a seed stage investor in a lot of different types of businesses, exclusively in Israel, web and software businesses, cybersecurity, mobile, e-commerce, digital media. And I am privileged to be next to a company where I can say we actually missed the boat. We didn't get to them in time. But I'm here with the CEO of Seculert, Dudi Matot. And we're going to spend just a couple of minutes giving you guys an opportunity to learn a little bit about what Dudi and Seculert do. And also, if anyone from the audience has any questions as we go through this, absolutely excited and happy to make this more of a conversation. So, Dudi, thank you so much for taking the time. How's everything going? You enjoying the conference? Be careful what you say. Tali is sitting over there.
Yeah, I'm enjoying very much.
Great.
Very well organized.
Great, great. So why don't you start telling us a little bit about what do you do, what gave you the idea, what gave you the impetus to start Seculert? Tell us a little bit about the company.
So I've been working at security since the late 90s, where security was all about prevention. Back then, it was very easy. You just put up a tool out there, deploy a policy, and you're all set and secured. We figured out in relatively early 2010 that prevention is no longer working as we expect it to work. Even though prevention is still a necessary evil, but we need to look more into the what happened if. A couple of years later, it becomes a reality. I think every CISO nowadays understand what I'm just saying, and why we need to look into our security investment, both on the vendor side, but also on the customer side, and shift some of the budget from a pure prevention play, from the next generation firewall, the sandboxing of the world, into something which is more detection response.
Great. And you know what, I think what's very interesting and why we find Israel to be such a sort of ground zero for cyber technologies is the different way that Israelis tend to think about prevention, detection, and the different way of approaching the market. And I think the best way potentially for you to illustrate that is if you could maybe give us a sense for, you don't have to tell us who your customers are, but a little bit about sort of, as we say, tachlis, what do you do for your customers?
Okay. So Seculert, we approach the enterprises with usually 2,000 employees and above, different verticals, so all the usual suspects. What usually when we talk to CISOs nowadays, usually their challenge is, one, I'm probably infected. That's become a reality. So that's the first thing they're telling us. That wasn't the case, I would say, 6-9 months ago. The second thing they're telling you, they understand that 85 to 95% of their prevention works, but there are blind spots. There are remote employees. People bring their own device. So they have places where they can be covered and are not covered well. They are trying to work that with their existing SIEM investment, so ArcSight, QRadar, Splunk, which they correlate with the threat feed. So everyone is so excited about threat feeds, but that just creates, if you don't have the context, it just creates yet another alerts, yet another false positive, etc. So then the operational guys are swamped with all these incidents, and we just all read what happened to Target. Yes, FireEye alerted, it went into the operation, they figured out, okay, yet another alert, and 6 months later, 40 million credit cards are out. So that's kind of the problem we are trying to solve to our customers. So we are not in the search mode, we give you the answer. So Seculert as a service, nothing for you, Mr. Customer, to deploy. We deploy our context and unique perspective on malware and those advanced threats onto your data without touching your network, all as a service, subscription-based, and give you those visibility into those infections that gone undetected, and an API from the cloud to connect that back into your network. So that's what we usually give our customers.
No, that's really helpful, and I think one of the key things that is tough for people to realize is knowing you have a problem is not enough. you have to know what to do about it, and you have to know who in the business is responsible for doing something about it. So much of current detection is a circumstance where it takes longer for a company internally to figure out how to solve the problem when they know they have it. So, having a solution like this that literally says, okay, here's where your problem is and here's what you do about it, that's usually the next step that a lot of Israeli cyber businesses take that a lot of their American counterparts don't. So it makes it very exciting. We just have another minute left, so I wanted to do this because I always find that when you're a successful CEO of a very promising cyber startup, it's a little intimidating for some folks, and so it's always nice to hear your personal story. How did you come to be where you are today? What was the biggest opportunity? What was the biggest mistake? Just humanize us.
Okay, so I've been working with. So I started my career at Checkpoint. Where the whole scene of security started. So in Israel, it's amazing people getting out of the army on one end, from the intelligence unit, people coming out from companies like Checkpoint, like Imperva. So there is a big ecosystem around security in Israel. And like a good Jewish boy, we all started the company in a Shabbat, in a Saturday dinner at my mother-in-law. That's really the case. So me and my partner...
How much does your mother-in-law take of the business? Okay.
She has most of the equity.
Yeah.
She puts all the risk around that. So that's kind of how we started the business. Around the table, Shabbat table, where we're talking about how easy it's to penetrate. And Aviv, who is the CTO, came to me and said, well, and I'm from Checkpoint, I said, well, it can't be easily. I can turn on a firewall and it will block it. And the day after tomorrow, we went to the home, play with it, and he just showed me how we can penetrate easily everything and take whatever he wants. That was early 2010. That was an eye-opener for me. I think that's an eye-opener for all of us in 2014, getting into 2015. But that's how we kind of started. And then the whole concept of the company was, okay, you are infected, and we are not trying to prevent the threat, because a threat will happen and an infection will happen. Let's focus on the outbound, where this is the, and that's another kind of Israeli. Don't stay out of the box, get out of the box, think differently. So don't think, okay, let's prevent an incoming threat. What happened when you are infected? And that's the weakest link. So think about a human spy. The weakest link is when he pick up the phone and call home. That's the weakest link of any kind of malware. It could be a kid malware or a Stuxnet malware. It calls home. And this is where you want to catch it. And that's what we do.
So guys, big round of applause for Dudi, Seculert.